after 200 days, life is completely different. People telling you, I'm just going to have to live with this for the rest of my life. How can I manage this the best I can? And that first discussion was almost like, okay, I have a completely misunderstanding of what pain is. I believe you said something about like, I'm managing it well, but we're not here to manage. We don't need to live with these symptoms for the rest of our lives.
But the ripple effects of the work that you've done go down the generations, because you have children that get to have a dad who goes to the park after work.
Absolutely. The amount of energy that I've been able to find is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. Action dad. It's great to hear, Dennis. Dennis has very kindly come to tell his story, and it's an important story because chronic pain is something that a huge number of people struggle with. And so Dennis emailed me recently saying it's been 200 days since I've done the lightning process, and it was a long list of successes. So I just had to have him share his story. So thank you, Dennis. Thank you and welcome.
Hello.
So Dennis, I would love to hear the whole story from the back pain, the fibromyalgia, and then ultimately what life is like now, 200 days down the track. But if we can start from before all of this started, what was life like for you?
I was happier and more of an extrovert than when I started to get fibrosis symptoms. And so I think that life was a lot more enjoyable. But yes, I feel that the more that I was being impacted by fibromyalgia, I was locking myself into a box of being more of an introvert than wanting to be out there sharing my life with others.
Yeah, it's a really common story that it can turn an extrovert into an introvert. It's just the impact of pain.
Which I think now that's working back to the other way. And I feel that that's over the couple of 100 days, I'm more shining more than before when it was like, I'm not interested in going out to see people. I prefer just to stay at home. It'd be better to go out and be social.
Yeah, brilliant. So it started with back pain from memory that morphed into fibromyalgia. So for those people who might not know what fibromyalgia is, can you tell me what that experience is like?
How can I explain it? It feels like I had a strain in my back, which then just led to, hey, I'm always sore. And then when something, you'd be like asking, how come this is not being fixed? And you'd be asking all the specialists and stuff, why am I still sore? And you're just like, it's just aching little pains and you just feel really sluggish with movement. And then you become exhausted because your body's just constantly sending out little triggers to say you're sore. And yeah, I feel that's mentally it then impacts you as well, which then impacts the fibro as well, because you're locking yourself into a little box that is, well, I feel sore, I'm tired, I don't want to go see people. So you mentally start self-loathing and anxiety picks up because you're like, oh, I've got to go see people. Am I going to be able to be social, or am I going to be whinging that I'm sore in the corner, or do I need to start taking pain meds all the time just to be active? It's just a whole big circle of nothingness, really, that it just keeps impacting you 24/7, and your sleep as well.
Yeah, that vicious cycle of sleep and stress and pain, anxiety, it wears people down, and has an impact on the people around us as well, which
yes,
could probably relate to as well.
Yes, that is one of the main reasons why I took the step. My wife, Joanne, was that she could notice these other symptoms that I was having in the background. Yes, I might be sore, but I might have been short with her or whinging, and she was always having to hold me up and encouraging me, but it was just the self-loathing or stuff like that. So the impact was a bit of a burden for her too, because she'd always have to be just there with me or encouraging, where now it would be we're together and we're happy, and that the relationship is even stronger now than what it was before really fibro kicked in.
Yeah, I remember when you first made contact, Dennis, the tone of your email I could feel that it had worn you down, and it was almost like maybe your wife was giving you a little bit of a nudge to look into this. So a little bit
Yeah,
cautious.
definitely. She was a key thing. I was maybe skeptical was the word, but yes, I was definitely unsure if this would be going to work because I tried so many different ways to try and live with this fibromyalgia. Then I spoke to you. It was more of like, well, I'm going at it a completely different way. So Joanne was just like, I think you need to go talk to Anne, go and see about this lightning process because we haven't tried everything, and maybe this is the step that you need to make to change your life. And yeah, very blessed that she was an encouragement for me to take that step.
But you got through the application process, so there must have been enough information, or it must have made enough sense because I don't take everyone on. So
Yeah.
because it is so proactive. If someone, if their heart's not in it and they're just going through the motions, they won't see results. So something must have made sense for you to throw yourself into it like you did.
Yes, and I think that was on a couple of levels with that. First, it was just the discussion that we had first, right? And you just kind of shared what you are guiding us through and training us through, and just making me rethink about what I want and how I'm approaching things. If I'm going to approach it in a negative way, from my side, I was thinking, oh, this may be not working. Maybe I'll just dabble my feet into it. Well, that's not the right approach. You need to really just go for it and trust the process. And then I think you asked me to, I did the audio book, which was as part of the process. And that just reassured me even more that, hey, this is something that can work. It has been successful for so many people. So that's good to have.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest obstacles for a lot of people is really a misunderstanding of what the problem is. Like, what is chronic pain or fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome? And so you spend years and thousands of dollars really wasted going down the wrong pathway.
And you put nail on the head. Exactly that. It's and that's what I mean. That first discussion was almost like, okay, I have a completely misunderstanding of what pain is or how I should be treating it. I believe you said something about like managing it well, but we're not here to manage. It's people telling you just need to manage it for the rest of your life, which was that's what mentally is through my mind is I'm just going to have to live with this for the rest of my life. How can I manage this the best I can, whether that's through pain management or through osteos, chiros, those type of people. But we don't need to live with these symptoms for the rest of our lives. And 200 days later, I'm well and truly on the right path to be saying I'm fibro clear.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful story, Dennis, and the impact on not just your health and your life, but your wife and your young family as well. It's huge. It's huge. The ripple effects of the work that you've done, I think, go down the generations because you have children that get to have a dad who goes to the park, after work.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
And that was also a big push. I've had another child since having done the course, but that was something that I really wanted to do more, is to have that energy instead of being a drainer on the family or on myself. It's more to be, hey, let's go and do something. The amount of energy that I've been able to find is incredible. It's even times when I'm just like, I've had the longest day at work or something and you've got the witching hour. I'm like, okay, let's quickly turn this around. And it turns around so quickly that I'm like, you know what? I'm excited to do bedtime routine. Like you find the energy to go to a park or to just hang out with kids more, just doing nothing. Like just being able to relax in life is just incredible.
Yeah. Action dad. It's great to hear, Dennis.
Yeah.
So one of the things that that I look for in the application process is, does someone have a really strong drive? Because it takes work, as you know, it takes drive and work. So, family was a big driver for you. And so you got through the application process, and I think you're a Melbourne training. So, rocked up to the training. So what was that part of the journey like the 3 days and the weeks after the training?
Well, training was great, and they were long days, but good days in the sense that you were really pushed mentally to rethink about how you're looking at your life. And so I went in there for my fibromyalgia, but pretty much came out of it thinking about all the other things that I have going on in my life are impacting me as much, if not more, than the fibromyalgia. Like as I mentioned before, you've got I would say I had mild depression, I had anxiety, it would have been self-loathing. I mean, we wrote a form and I'm ticking off 90% of them. And I'm like, wow, okay. If I really sit down here and think about them in the face, I probably have most of these, if not all of them. And it's just like, okay, just not grasping where I am in life and how I'm treating it and how they're all linked together. Yes, I put in some hard yards right at the beginning, but as you said, it's a big job to retrain your brain into just working how it is. I see some changes that are mentally I was changed very, very, very quickly. After a few months, it just kind of just seemed to be just a happy life. I focused on doing my journal every day, and I still do it today. I still like to just note it down. Hey, what am I looking forward to today? Like that is probably the big change, is to say, what am I looking forward to today? And how can that be there? And then come back and just try and pick out the good things that have happened, even if they're really tiny. Just really look at it. So then you just the whole training doesn't finish at 3 days. It's going to take some time. After 200 days, the life is completely different.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Dennis. That people will often they look at the lightning process as a way to get rid of symptoms. And that's not what the lightning process is. It's what's going on in my life and my body and my mind that's keeping my nervous system triggering all of these responses. And so, and it makes perfect sense that just doing some body work or going to a chiro to try and jiggle something, how can that have an impact on all these other pieces that are at play? And so taking that big picture approach, mind-body approach, I think is critical. So 200 days, tell me about life now. What's the high points? What brings joy to your life nowadays, Dennis?
Well, just all those little things that were struggles before that I would make excuses not to be able to do. So things that I'm doing now, like you mentioned, going to the park. So yes, it's now go and pick up my son and we'll go to the park for half an hour and we'll go and have a play for a little bit. Just making that time that I have with them while they're young, and try and do those things with them, and reading, and just spending some time with them instead of saying, okay, I need to go home. I've had a really busy day. I'm exhausted. I just need to go and sit down and just do nothing. When the first step I'm going to do is to look forward to, it's every day I pretty much write down, looking forward to go and spending some time with the family. Am I going to take him to a park? Am I going to take him to the shops? Am I going to just try and even work that around things that I need to do? So if I need to go and pick up some building materials or something, I'm like, come with me. We're going to the shops. We're going to pick up some stuff and just spend that time with them. And we have to make goals that we want to try and achieve, and what we're trying to drive us to have that better life, and to try and do a bit more of that. So going and playing golf was one of them for me. A little bit time poor, but that's fine. But the objective is to make the time, and like, let's just go. It's just jump up, let's go and have some fun for an hour or two. Is the things that really just bring out joy.
Yeah, oh, well done. And And this success is on the back of not being reliant on the pain meds, which were a staple of your
Yeah.
life. When I met you not that long ago. So that's huge.
Yeah. I was trying so many different types of medications out there and quite reliant on them to be even carrying them with me. They'll be in cars, they'll be in bags, they'll be sometimes in pockets, I guess. It's just having them there. And even when I'm traveling, like, oh, should I be taking these just in case? Well, that I don't do. And I probably only had them a handful of times since doing this course. And that is the amazing thing, saving money, but just not having those chemicals in my body because I'm not needing them.
Yeah. So empowering. This change is 100% me. It's not via a pill. It's 100% me.
me. Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
If you put the hard work in, it's you doing the hard work. You're not relying on external medication or external doctors or osteochiros, anybody to make you better. It's you that's done that.
Yeah, and that is a theme for chronic pain and chronic fatigue. It's the proactive approaches that are associated with success. If you're reliant on a pill or a person or a device or something to do the work, that's a management strategy, and that's where it stays. Wow, Dennis. So what about insights? If, when you look back at the whole journey to now, is there an insight or something that you could share that would help anyone else that might be struggling with fibro or chronic pain?
Insights were, well, me coming there, as I was saying before, that I was coming there for fibromyalgia. Just be open to be picking up other things that are impacting your life and impacting everything about your life. So learning about my language, like that was something else that I picked up and changed quite quickly. You're changing your language about not making them 100%. So it's like, I would be saying that I'm always sore. Well, you're not always, right? So it's just changing my language. And I also had the support with Joanne, that she would also change the way that she'd be asking me things. And so language change was something that was really just be really open to doing that, because that does help, and be open to understanding and learning what pain is, even if you think it might sound a little bit silly at the beginning. Once you actually get an understanding of that, it just really just drops the mic. It really makes everything understandable, and you can kind of relate to it into a way that makes much more sense for why you're in pain, why you're in chronic pain, why you're tired. Even sharing with friends that are saying I'm struggling with sleeping, and the first thing I'm saying, okay, well, what are you doing during your day? Like, I know that you had a segment on sleep, and well, what are you doing in the day? Oh, I'm running around like a headless chook, stressing over this. I'm like, okay, well, if I was me, I'd be learning how to focus what you're doing during the day, because that's how I've worked it on myself. The impact that I've made during the day has helped me sleep so much better at night that I can sleep all night, like without having to worry about or dwell on things. So the sleep, be open to seeing all facets of pain and mentality, all that type of stuff, and your language. That would be the 3 insights.
Awesome. Thank you. I love that sleep tip as well. It's, that our nights are a reflection of our days. Some people come to the learning process just for insomnia, and they think it'll be doing all this stuff around the bedtime at night when they wake up. But, humans know how to sleep. It is one of the strongest drives, but fear and stress are a stronger driver. And so the brain will get in the way of a good night's sleep if there are certain things at play in your life in general.
That's
so
right. It's the understanding of there's other factors that are all connected. So
excellent. And you were very willing to look into modern pain science as well. That was very clear. you didn't dig your heels in like some people. It was like, okay, I'm hearing this and it's making sense. And so I guess that allowed you to throw yourself into the work. So well
Yeah.
done.
And you got to go into it with a positive, open mind, open to come and learn something. Even if you've tried a million different things and nothing's really worked for you, you're coming to fix your problem. You know, I think not maintain, but be open to fixing the problem.
Yeah, one of my pain mentor has said that we know enough about pain to say that management is a cop-out. Recovery has to be the goal. Like whether we can reach it or not is an unknown, but that has to be the goal because we know enough about pain to do that work. And that's what you've done. Yeah. So, Dennis, wishing you a spectacular next 200 days. Keep me posted, and thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I know that there'll be people that, are stuck in pain or fatigue or fibro, and they get to hear your extraordinary journey and be inspired by it. So thank you.
Well, I hope me sharing these, what my life has been like does help somebody out there. And yeah, thank you, Ian.